For no particular reason, I've been learning to TIG weld. I bought a cheapo Chinese TIG welder, $500 second hand, does AC/DC, MIG, not MIG, AC/DC, high frequency start, pulse, all that good stuff. So this is my first ever weld there, left to right. There's no filler in it, it's just getting a feel for how everything goes. This is the second time I've tried to do some practice. Last night the tank I got from Bunnings turned out to be empty. And that's my second one there. So there's no filler, this is just running it across and getting a feel for the arc. There's a nice big long one. So I committed several cardinal sins. This is galvanized. I scratched it with a wire brush, on a drill, spinning wire brush thing. But it's still got a fair bit of crud on there. So I tried not to breathe too much of it, but I just wanted to get a feel for how the arc behaves. There's a nice big long one. This one here is probably like the second last one I did, when I was trying to do a big long continuous weld with the feeding the filler in. And I found out that I had initially started with the torch up like this and tilted back a little bit like you're supposed to, and so all's well up until about here. Then I started to lose control, like I had to shift my right hand because it was getting hot, and ended up sagging the torch way down here, and the arc kept jumping across to this smooth stuff here rather than this rough stuff. So I was constantly fighting to bring the arc back down, and I think I got a bit too far away and got a bit of loss of gas coverage there. These are the ones where I was just starting to get a feel for feeding the filler rod in. Just blip, 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 blip. Well, I was feeding the filler rod in from this side. Blip, going this way. Blip, 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 blip. And about like 4 times over the course of that, I got a blob of steel on the electrode and had to go grind it again. These ones were when I cranked up the power just to see what effect that would have, and the effect is that it blows this is only like 3mm steel. I put the power up to about 50 amps and it just sort of because I was putting filler in. I was like, where's my filler going? This is just pretty much flat, even slightly concave. And then I flipped it over and had a look underneath, and I was like, oh, there's all my steel. So yeah, I thought I'd try to join these together. So I did that pretty horrendous looking disaster there. Then I came through underneath and did the other side. And I was experimenting with not putting any filler rod in. Now you can see where I welded the electrode to the steel there. I had to snap it off. I started just not putting any filler in for this starter part here, because this was slightly proud of this, so I just sort of teased it down. And that was going not too bad. I started putting some filler in about here, and then again it started to get all hot and I was uncomfortable and I sort of lost focus and the torch drifted down, and it all sort of went to hell near the end over here as I was getting closer to where I was holding it, and where my hand was resting. And the filler rod at this point was like 50mm long, so it was a bit hard to hold on to. But yeah, so for a sense of scale, here's a scale. It's about that big. So you know, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself. It's much like soldering, but just much hotter and much more fiddly. So the only post-treatment I've done with these is just a hose down with some water and then a pass with the wire brush. But you know, for the first ever shot at TIG welding, just watching YouTube videos, I don't think that's too much of a disaster. I do need to primarily focus on just keeping a consistent torch angle, I think, more than anything else. So next time I crack this out, I might just do a few more of these and just try to get a consistent movement and consistent angle. So I go. Okay, bye bye.